Hi, in this video I'll show you how to ask the right questions when you're reading the charts, and I'll share my best practices for critical thinking. I'm Dr. Deniz Marti. I'm a professor of human AI interaction at the Systems Engineering Department, and today we're learning how to read charts like a pro. So every chart tells a story, right? So charts don't just show facts, but they actually frame decisions, because there's always a design choice. So by the end of this video series, you'll know how to apply critical thinking when reading charts and what kind of questions you can ask, and ideally spot overclaims and understand what the data can tell you and what the data cannot tell you. At some point in your career, in your life, you'll be reading charts, you'll be maybe designing charts to support your decisions that actually matters. If you're a decision maker, you're going to be briefed on facts, but usually those facts, they come in full report, but you won't read the full report, right? So you won't see the raw data, because usually what you'll see is the encapsulated information. I always think of that as like a multivitamin pill. Yes, you need to consume all these vitamins and the minerals and the proteins, right? But you can't, like, your body cannot take all the food. So what we do usually, if we can't get all the food that we need to consume for our body, we just take a pill, right? So the charts are by design is encapsulated information, so it can't have all the information. There's always a translation, there's always a design choice, and like in every translation, meaning can be lost, right? Subtly shifted. You need to know how to ask the right questions, otherwise charts can be misleading. And reading charts actually virtually is an art. And every design choice, it has a message. What is included and what is excluded, and what's emphasized either through the colors or like the choice of the images, and what is hidden. And your job as a decision maker, whoever is the consumer or the reader of that chart, is to learn how to decode it. Okay, your responsibility isn't just to consume information, but asking questions, applying critical thinking on the chart. The interpretation of the data and how information is visualized directly shapes how the problem is framed, how the problem is defined, what feels urgent, what decisions get made. These are important subtle messages that charts usually communicate. And we see charts about economy, finance, healthcare, education, in the newspaper, in the social media, in the research reports, maybe in your job. You see charts all the time, so it's important to understand and have the visual literacy. Now we're going to practice different types of charts and how to read them. And they are from credible sources like UNESCO and US Census Bureau, and we'll analyze those charts. And it's relevant to the gender studies, it's relevant to the women in math, science, and engineering. So it's important to be aware of those biases. Maybe the designers of those charts don't necessarily want to communicate that, or they want to prioritize or emphasize a certain information. But if we are aware of that communication method, then we can make better and informed decisions, and we can develop our visual literacy skill. And if you have the skill, as you know at this point, that you'll know which conclusions are safe to make and which ones are overclaims. Because I want to emphasize something very important, that if you have an argument, but if you're overclaiming, even if your values are true, even if your arguments are strong, because you are actually overclaiming, you may weaken your argument. And especially issues like societal issues, the policy issues, the gender related issues, if you're talking about gender gaps, overclaiming is actually more dangerous than what you would think. Now let's begin some charts. We'll practice and analyze those, and hopefully practice our critical thinking. See you in the next video.